Number one question is about a shot that I did on television a couple of years ago. They call it the blind shot. You see, the producer of the TV show set an 8-inch balloon at 150 yards away from me. Then he put a curtain up in front where I couldn't see the balloon. I had to shoot the arrow over the top of the curtain to try to break the balloon 150 yards away that I could not see. They had the producer, or excuse me, the host of the show, spotting for me, telling me if I shot too far, too short, right or left. And I'd try to compensate and get the balloon. But anyway, the question has always been is how many shots did it take me to break the balloon 150 yards away that I could not see? Answer is none of your business. Way more than that. Okay. By far, one of the most often asked questions is, how do you do that? How can you possibly accomplish the shots that we see you do on television and some of the stuff I'm going to try to do for you guys here today? And for years, I would tell you that, well, you've got to practice. You have to practice doing it right. You know, practice doing the wrong thing just makes you really good at doing it wrong, okay? But you have to practice doing it right. But I would leave a major portion out. And I realized that a couple of years ago, so I started changing up a little bit. You see, you have to have your equipment tuned. When you shoot an arrow from a traditional bow or any bow with fingers, the first thing that happens is that arrow will bend around the riser. It bends like this, going around the riser of the bow. It's called the archer's paradox. But then as it leaves the bow, it will bend in the opposite direction. If you superimpose those two on top of one another, it looks like this. Where those two cross is called the node point. Now, the reason that's important for you archers to know, it makes absolutely no difference where you aim the arrow. The arrow will always fly 100% of the time to where the node points are aligned. So you need to tune your arrow to fly to the target. The way I do it is through a system called barrel shaft tuning. You take an arrow shaft full length that you know that will fit your bow eventually. And you begin trimming that arrow off in 1/2 to 1/4 inch increments. For a right-hand shooter, when you first shoot the arrow, it'll be sticking in the target like this, with the knock to the left of the forward. As you trim it shorter and shorter, you'll see it begin to walk around. When it's sticking in the target straight, now we know that our node points are aligned to fly straight to that target. Then it's an issue of you making the shot, executing the shot properly. All right. By far, one of the most often asked questions is why do I shoot a longbow rather than the prettier recurve style bow? What you have to understand is what got me into archery in the first place is hunting with the bow and arrow. In my home state of Alabama, the #1 animal to be hunted with the bow and arrow is the white-tailed deer. So the reason I shoot the longbow rather than the prettier recurve style bow is I'd much rather be sitting around the campfire eating deer than talking about how pretty my bow is. Longbows are the most forgiving style of bow you can shoot. Well, what does that mean? And how does it do it? What it means is the longbow will allow me to make a mistake and still put the arrow in the target. Now, how it does it is what's interesting. You can take any longbow in a strung position, try to move that damn tip from side to side. You'll find you can't move the tip of a longbow laterally. Versus a recurve style bow, you can push that tip so far, you would push the string out of the string ring. So what that tells you is, if you shoot a recurve, excuse me, you must pull the string back in line with the center of the limb. You cannot torque. If you torque the recurve, in other words, if you pull the string out of line in the center, the limb tip will turn and face the direction you're pulling. If you were to release with the bow in this torque position, the limb tip flips back and forth. And that's what causes your arrow to be lost over the left field somewhere. Longbows simply do not care. You can torque all you want. Just hold the bow on target. The limb will force the string down the center, sending the arrow to the target. So the first 4 shots we're going to do for you are not real spectacular trick shots. These shots are simply designed to show you that you can indeed torque the string with a long bow and still put the arrow in the target. The first one is the actual shot that I used to make my first ever whitetail deer with a long bow. I get on one knee, go horizontal to the ground, and shoot up under an obstruction. We call this the under the limb shot. A very simple shot, with a shot that could be a little difficult with a different style of bow. But now let's make it a little bit harder. Again, we'll load up horizontal, but this time upside down, torquing the string to hold the arrow against the bow. How about again, we'll go upside down, this time holding the bow over my shoulder. Last but not least, the backbreaker. Only thing I can really tell you about this shot is for sure is I'm too old and too fat to do this. The arrows I'm shooting are the Byron Ferguson Heavy Hunter 100% carbon arrow. These are the heaviest carbon arrows on the planet. The bow I'm shooting is one of my Hunter Supremes, made specifically for hunting, bow hunting. The only thing really special about this bow is the fact that it is a takedown long bow. It has a carbon sleeve, so it comes apart. Makes it much easier for traveling. The bow and arrow generates over 50 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. The reason I brought that up is for the young people I see sitting there. What that means, guys, this is not a toy. This thing will hurt you. Or, more correctly stated, hurt someone around you. I got news for you. So will your bow and arrow. There's no such thing as a toy bow and arrow. Under no circumstances attempt to do what you see me try to do here this morning. If you just have to try to do some of these shots for yourselves, at least wait until you get married. That way you can get your wife help like I did. This is my wife, Wanda, helping me this morning. I know some of you are probably curious, Wanda is my 13th wife. I'm going to switch bows for the next series of shots. Put this one on the table. This is also a takedown bow, just like that one, pulling 70 pounds at 28 inches of draw. This is the Safari series bow. This is my favorite style of bow to shoot. Now, in continuing with our out of position shots, you can't get too much more out of position than we're about to try. You see, a friend of mine in Michigan, USA, Ron McLaren, excuse me, was a very avid bowman. One year, just before the archery season opened for deer, Ron broke his wrist, so he couldn't hold the bow. But he had an idea. He was set on a chair, put the bow on his foot, and shoot the deer from the body. Sounds like a good idea, but he didn't get a deer that year. Like I said, he didn't get a deer that year. Yes, I'm a better hunter than I'm a shooter. Okay, again, we're going to switch bows. there, someone need it back. This is the bow made by Bear Archery Company. This is a Royal Safari, also pulling about 70 pounds. But this is a very unique bow. You see, this is the world's only double barrel bow. What we're going to try to do is break 2 balloons with 1 bullet bowstring by shooting 2 arrows at once. On a scale of 1 to 10 in degree of difficulty, this is about 8. It is a fairly difficult shot. As a matter of fact, only run about 60, maybe 70% success rate on this particular shot. I want to go ahead and tell you guys that up front and just get out of the way. Just so I can tell you, if I miss it, I don't want to hear about it. It's a hard shot. A lot of people have asked me, how did you start doing this? What actually got you into shooting exhibition archery? Well, one of the things that got me on TV, I was already shooting exhibition archery. I did a show in Nashville, Tennessee, Fairgrounds. You know, the fellow there in the audience watched me. He came to me after the show and said, would you like to be on a TV show? I said, well, sure, yeah, I'm going to be on TV. So he explained to me that I would have to audition for the part. Well, what do you want me to do? He said, well, let's see. It would be nice if you could bounce an arrow off a board and stick in the target. Okay, what do you want me to hit? I'll just bounce it off the board and stick the target. Cool, I'll do that. So we're going to try to replicate that shot for you guys today. We're going to try to bounce the arrow around and stick it in the target. But I do have to hit something. So this makes it a whole lot worse. Notice Wanda has attached a white balloon to the end of the board. I have to place my arrow precisely enough on the back end of this board to make it bounce up and break the white balloon. Then travel on to the target and break the red balloon that Wanda will hold in her teeth. That old number 12, that everything's out of whack here. It's hard enough to make it up in line. Okay. You know, some shots are so famous. All you have to do is just say the name of the person that originally accomplished the shot. And everybody will pretty much know what you're going to try to do. In archery, there's a couple. By far, the most famous is called a Robin Hood. In order to accomplish the Robin Hood shot, the first thing you have to do is shoot an arrow into the center of the bullseye. Now that's important. It can't be off to one side, it's got to be right down the middle. Then with the next arrow, you shoot into the back end first, splitting the first shape. That is a Robin Hood. If your first arrow is not in the bullseye, but you still split it with the next arrow, that's what's known as an accident. I have been fortunate enough to be able to accomplish the Robin Hood shot on a couple of different television programs. The first time I ever did it on the camera was on a show on the History Channel called Extreme Marksman. Now, the thing about working on a major network like the History Channel is they have some really cool toys. My favorite was the high-speed video camera. This thing was an absolute monster. It took 2 men to operate one of these cameras. And I can only try to imagine how many hundreds of thousands of euros that thing must have cost. So it's very fortunate that I was the first shooter up that morning, and they got my Wanda shot on tape. Because after lunch, one of the gun shooters shot their $5 camera. They were not happy, let me tell you. It would be extremely unethical of me to tell you guys which one of the gun shooters did that. But what I can tell you is Jerry Mickler told me he didn't have the pistol back in the holster before they handed him an insurance claim. It wasn't Jerry's fault. I mean, there were some technical issues involved. I'll let him try to explain that one. Another famous archery shot would be the William Tail. That is when you guys, of course, volunteer and let me try to shoot a piece of fruit off of your head with a 70-pound longbow, over 50 foot-pounds of energy on the arrow. And as you can see, there's absolutely no sighting mechanism on this bow. But I guarantee you I can do it. There is no doubt in my mind I could do the William Tail. I'm also pretty sure it would take 2 or 3 tries. So we better not do that for you. What we will try to do for you is a shot that's made famous by a lady sharpshooter, Miss Amy Oakley. We're going to try to break another balloon, this time Amy in the mirror. Remember? No. Okay, now. I'm going to line arrows with this. Okay. Now for the fun stuff. The fellow I looked up to when I was growing up was a guy named Howard Hill. I know some of you don't recognize the name, but I bet you've seen him shoot. If you have ever watched The Adventures of Robin Hood with Earl Free, then you saw Mr. Hill in action. Just a phenomenal shot with bow and arrow. But what most impressed me about Mr. Hill was not his movie career, but it was his hunting career. You see, I read one time, in the course of Mr. Hill's hunting career, he bagged over 4,000 bird on the wing, all along. What I'm trying to do next is imitate some of Mr. Hill's wing shooting. We'll get it started with a goose. The red balloon inside the disc is approximately the size of a goose. We want the back, no, we'll let me see how high you go. Yeah, back up a little bit closer. All right, try it again. Okay. Now the next target is quite a bit smaller, obviously harder to hit. So the wooden disc is about the size of a duck. years ago, I was out in Texas, what's called the Big Country Celebrity Quail Hunt. That first morning, they picked me up before daylight in a Suburban, we call them Texas Cadillac. Before daylight, so I walked around and got in behind the driver. In a few minutes, this fellow gets in on the passenger side next to me. I looked at him, it was General Chuck Yeager. This is a man I had admired all my life. And here he is sitting on the seat right next to me. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't say a word. We got to where we were going to hunt, and General Yeager conducted the usual safety meeting. Don't shoot the dog, don't shoot your partner, that kind of stuff. But then he ended it by telling the other hunters, oh, by the way, the bow hunter gets the first shot. I said, but General, these guys paid money. He said, I said the bow hunter gets the first shot. Yes. You're the general, I should have known better. Well, it wasn't long until the dogs pointed. And General Yeager said, okay, Byron, go flush your birds. So I knocked the arrow on the string and he's up there, but there's only 5 birds got up. But one of them was going straight away from me. I said, oh man, look at that. My arrow was eating that bird up. Then a shot rang out. Feathers flew everywhere off of my arrow. General Yeager shot my arrow over. I thought he was trying to be Mr. Nice Guy. He was just setting me up the whole time. All right, see if we can get a mark. I get right at the very top of that thing. We're going to have to do something. Let's get it at an angle. And then, let me look at it. All right. And again. Oh, that ain't nothing. I missed a bunch of things with shotguns. You know. Too close to the top of the net. I don't know if we can raise that anymore or not. Can that net go up anymore? Is that as high as it'll go? My arrow is at the very top of it. My foot is over. And I want to move it closer back. Hope that's it. Okay. Let's look at it there. Spill that one over. We're going to have to back up closer. All right. Perfect. Tip. Hand grenades and horseshoes. All right, hit the top. One more. I got another arrow. That ain't nothing. I'm going to try the hard one. Now, in keeping with our theme of shooting birds, this next one I would relate to being like a hummingbird, a little hummingbird. But then this game warden in Mississippi informed me that's illegal. Yeah, you can't be shooting hummingbird, boy. Well, I didn't know that, but they taste like owl. You want one? Yeah, no such a thing. We're going to try to hit a ping pong ball. Now, you know that I will hit the ping pong ball every time. Well, that's true. The only time I ever miss the ping pong ball is when she don't blow it right. Sometimes it might take her several tries, so I can take it. For our next shot, we need to get a volunteer out of the audience. Young man, young lady, somebody. Okay, we got one right up there. Come on down. Pick one. Go there. What's your name, sir? Sorry? Mike? Close enough. How old are you? 14 years old. Isn't that old enough to know better? Would you hold on my ball, let me tell the guys what we're going to try to do, and I'll tell you what I need you to do to help, okay? Now, I'm not about to stand here and try to tell you guys that this is the hardest shot, because obviously the ping pong ball is the hard one. But I'm also going to be honest. This is by far the most dangerous shot. For that reason, I only get 3 tries. If I cannot hit it within 3 shots, you have my apology. This is the killing time shot. One that has an alarm clock fastened into the disc. With your help, I'm going to try to hit that disc tossed up in the air while blindfolded. Your job is to help me in case I miss it. You've got to be able to tell me if my arrow goes to the right, to the left, high, low, where it goes, where I can try to compensate. Also about how bad I miss. Oh man, that was a foot to the left, or whatever. If I shoot low right, I can probably figure that one out. She's going to be kicking and squealing so awful. One more thing. This is the blindfold I'm going to wear. I want you to check it. Make sure it's real and I'm not trying to cheat. Before you look at my blindfold, I would like to remind you of something. You've been sitting up there watching you shoot for about 30 minutes now. You're way bigger than ping pong ball. Hey. I know it's real. Tell them. Okay. Yeah, I got at least 3 in there. Okay. All right, let's come real close to this one, okay? We're going down here, okay, about right here. You stand over on this side, yeah, right in there somewhere. That's cool. You don't get in front of me. Let's see, won't you stand behind that red line right there? That's your moment right there. Whatever you do not move from that spot. Now, I'm not going to shoot at the first throw. The first throw is simply to make sure I will be able to hear and track the target. We'll begin shooting on the second throw. Then, like I said, I'll get 3 tries. One more disclaimer before we begin this shot. If your cell phone sounds like an alarm clock, I'm just saying, it would be the first time. Okay.
Going up. Now.
Ready? Maybe.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
Going up. Now.
That's the same feeling. That's the same feeling I get every time a big buck deer starts walking toward my stand. Same thing. Pretty much same reaction to him. I normally don't cuss at him like that. Just teasing. Okay. We're going to try for real now, okay? You're not mad, are you? Why are you looking at me like that? Okay, this one's for real. Okay. The arrow's on the string this time. This one's for real.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Going up. Now.
Pretty cool, huh? Man, you're good. This is the first time this year we've hit on the first try. All right, thank you very much. Do we have anything to give him on the papers now? The broke clock? There you go, a souvenir. Well, thank you all for listening. Very cool. All right. Now my favorite part of the program. This is where you guys ask me questions and I make up answers. So. Any question at all, if you want to know how what it is, I'll tell you. Yes, sir.
You once did the shot with through a ring. How many shots did it take? You kindly got the focus to. Same like the
diamond ring. Yeah. The question is about a shot out there in Tokyo, Japan in 1989. Well, I was after shooting a lady diamond solitaire ring that was valued over $17,000 US. When I got back to the States, it said in the papers that I did it on the first try. That was not correct. First try, knocked it off on the floor. You should have seen all the Japanese swarming around there trying to find that ring. But anyway, it took like 3 tries to get it through there. But that's after 2 days of practice, doing nothing but shooting at that ring. But while everybody else was out touring Tokyo, Wanda and I were backstage with the ring and a felt-tip pin and a block of styrofoam. I draw circles inside the ring and then try to shoot the arrow through the circle. And after 2 days of doing that, I hit it on the third try. Okay, come on with some questions. This is going to be a short show. Yes, sir. 100% carbon. The ones I'm shooting weigh 13.5 grams per inch. The heaviest ones weigh 15.5 per inch. Yes, sir. Any tips on instinctive shooting? Cool. The way I shoot the bow and arrow, I call myself an instinctive gap shooter. I always point the arrow at the same distance beneath the target. The way I do that is, in order to be a good gap shooter, and for those of you that are not familiar with gap shooting, is using the point of the arrow as a sight pin. And then you set an appropriate gap beneath the target depending on the distance. That's how I was learning to shoot. Mr. Howard, he would call this the split vision method of aiming. But then one day I was shooting better than I was capable of shooting at that time. I thought, what's different? I don't understand. What am I doing different today? Then I realized I was focused more on the target than I was on the point of the arrow. Shooting split vision or gap shooting, you have to divide your concentration 50% on the target, 50% on the arrow. I shoot 90-10. I'm 90% on the target, only 10% on where the arrow is pointed in relation to the target. But in traditional archery, instinctive archery, or shooting a compound bow with sights, the 2 most important things you can do is number 1, hold the bow still. Hold the bow still until the arrow hits the target. If you move the bow to see the arrow fly, all you're going to see is a bad shot. So don't do that. Number 2, make sure your elbow is back in line with the target. If you do those 2 things, you will never miss right and left. Now you might miss high and low, but you'll never miss it right and left. Okay, another question? Yes, ma'am. How many shots? I'm a little hard of hearing, so try again. How many shots have I accomplished in 1 minute? Back when I was trying to speed shoot, We didn't, I think it was like 24 shots in 30 seconds or something like that. That was not trying to hit anything with it. How fast can you shoot? Mr. Howard Hill could shoot 7 arrows into the air before the first one hit the ground. Anybody on this side have any questions?
What's the biggest buck you killed?
Oh, the biggest animal I've ever killed? The Holstein cow. I did, but boy, I want to do real bad. That was the most aggravating thing I've ever done in my life. The biggest animal I've ever taken was a bow and arrow. The biggest in sheer weight is called a river buffalo. Not a water buffalo, but a river buffalo. A river buffalo is like cousins related to the Cape buffalo in Africa, except they're bigger. Okay. The one I shot weighed 2,000 pounds. The biggest animal as far as body size, not in weight, but just overall mass, was a moose, a Canadian moose. He weighed 1,200 pounds. God, that thing's big. The biggest buck I ever shot, whitetail deer, I shot on the Milk River, hunting with Realtree. It scored 132 inches. Well, it's the biggest one I've had scored. I shot one in Lincoln County, Georgia. That's a 12-point buck. That probably would gross more, but he was like 5 on one side and 7 on the other. So by the time they got the deduction, they wouldn't score that well. Yes, ma'am. Is it possible? Yes, ma'am. I can teach you how to shoot your compound bow without sights. It will not be instinctive, but I can show you how to do it. Oh, you didn't bring it with you? Well, I can definitely show you how to do it. Yes, sir. Can I shoot riding a horse? I mean, you didn't phrase that correctly. It's supposed to be, can you shoot from a horse? Yes. Can I shoot off a horse? No. Yeah, my legs are too short, horse's belly's too big. We are going to try to do some of that for this season on the Impossible Shots television program, where I'll be riding from horseback, shooting at other moving targets. I'll let you know how that works out. Well, yeah, the first thing you got to do is be able to ride a horse, then shoot a bow. Sir?
Okay. Just take silence.
Oh. Is he putting the hook out? Is that what he's doing? One more.
Do you have any world records on the net?
Do I have any world records? I have the one deer that we talked about earlier. I have a black bear that I shot that would make the book, but he wouldn't be anywhere near the top. So I'd never have food with me then. He'd be way down. Peter, do you have something?
Is Zachary offering this Italian bows?
Yes, yes. My son Zachary and I make the bows that I've been shooting for you today, and they are offered for sale if anybody would be interested. I'll encourage you to look at the takedown versions simply because of the cost of shipping from the U.S. back here. It's $150 US for the takedown option, and shipping from the U.S. here is going to be $200. So save $50 to get a takedown. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to you. You'll just keep going. Oh, okay. Okay. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
Did you ever use that ground shot to get like a possum out from under your car?
Get a possum out from under the car.
Seems
I got a snake out around the house. And we had the pest control guy come this way for termites. He come out faster than he went in. There's a snake over there. It's a snake, yeah. So he shined his light, and sure enough, up from here to Arnold, there was a little snake about this big. So I went and got my bow and arrow and got down and yeah, but it hit him.
Who produces your arrows?
I do my own arrows.
You do your own arrows?
Gold tip makes the shafts, and then I put gold feathers and everything on.
Is the reason why you shoot 70-pound bow?
Yes. The question is there a reason why I should have had 70-pound bow? Number one, you consistently gain in performance as far as pounds pulled versus velocity on the arrow, up to 70 pounds. Over 70 pounds, you don't gain much. It's like with a motor, outboard motor on a boat, you can push it about 5 miles an hour with a 5-horse motor, but you can't push it 100 miles an hour with a 100. But somewhere in there, the point of diminishing returns. The bow and arrow have to be 70 pounds. My first longbow was pulling 105 pounds, so I developed a steel claw for a release. If I don't have at least 70 pounds of pressure on the fingers, I cannot make a clean release.
Als er iemand is die moeite heeft met Engels, dan heeft hij ook weer een voor je vertaling gevraagd. Dus als je gewoon een vraag hebt, mag je in Nederland bij mij proberen te vertalen.
Yes, sir.
How many arrows do you practice when you shoot 70 pounds?
Good question. Like most people, in the beginning, I shot every day for at least an hour to 2 hours every day. But then a few years ago, I was watching the evening news, and they were talking about the University of Alabama football team going into 4 and 5-a-day practice sessions. And a light bulb went off, you know. Now that makes sense. Instead of these long afternoon marathon practice sessions, I'll break it up throughout the day for about 30 minutes during the day. And you shoot for 30 minutes, and you'll do something else, you'll mow the lawn, do something, then come back, shoot for another 30 minutes. And each time I come back to shoot, it's like the next day. It's like a whole new practice session. So I'm fresh and ready to try again.
And you do that every day, or is it just a few days?
Every other day.
Every other day.
I can try to give myself a day's rest between. Yes, ma'am.
I saw on YouTube that you opened a bottle of cola with your bow and arrow. How did you do that?
Question about a shot that I did originally for the Impossible Shots television series. It's where I opened a Coke, Coca-Cola with an arrow by shooting it. And the way we did it, we had the old-timey opener, bottle opener, super glued to the cap of the bottle. Then I shot the opener and opened the Coke. Yes, sir.
Outside, use 5 inches too.
Yes. I shoot the same arrow combination all the time. I did learn a couple of years ago, since carbon arrows clean up faster, in other words, they fly true sooner than any other type of material except obviously for wood. You can use a smaller arrow, smaller feather, and probably get better performance out of your arrow with a smaller feather, like a 4-inch instead of a 5-inch. Okay. Yes, sir.
What inspired you to start doing archery?
I can't walk and listen at the same time. Yes, sir.
What actually inspired you doing archery?
What inspired me to get into archery was when I was 12 years old in the home state of Alabama. We became legal to hunt whitetail deer with a bow and arrow a whole month earlier than you could with a firearm. That is true. Right. Yes, sir.
Even though a longbow is much more forgiving than a recurve or other types of bows, would you be able to shoot the same way with a recurve as you Wanda?
No. Tried it. Yeah, no, unfortunately, no. Yes, sir. Mr. Hill shot 100 to 115 pound bows with very, very heavy arrows for penetration. Again, he was hunting a lot of African game, elephant, rhinoceros, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you get up over 100 pounds, then that allows you to shoot a much heavier arrow that don't shoot any faster than my 70 pound bow shoot these arrows as far as speed, but they shoot just about the same speed with a much heavier projectile. So that gives you better penetration. Give you an idea and make it all make sense to you. Just the arrowhead that Mr. Hill used when he shot the elephant weighed 1,200 grams. Just the head, not counting the shaft. I keep it within 20 yards. I try to. There are exceptions to every rule. One time I shot a white-tailed deer at 50 yards. I shot a moose at 55 yards. I shot a caribou at 60 yards. But that's exceptions. That's not the norm. Like on the white-tailed deer, the kill zone on the chest was bracketed. There was a tree stump in front of it. I blow down over his back, and two trees beside it, so all I could see was the chest. So I shot the chest or I shot wood.